Hello America, this is Keith, your friendly neighborhood technician, coming at you with some more wonderful information. Today we're going to talk about what is better, top load versus front load. Yes. What I mean by that is this is going to come down to basic personal preference. In all honesty, that's what it's going to come down to. My personal preference is I prefer top load, and I'll go over why real quick. Because top load, I'm doing this, okay? I'm actually dropping in, getting in, versus a front load over here, okay, which is I'm doing this, okay. You got to get down. I'm old, I don't bend well, so I don't like the fact that I actually go in here and do something like this, okay. That's my personal preference. Is one better than the other? Yes and no. What I mean by that is, if it's you and somebody else, there really is no difference. They both will work perfectly fine. Now, if you have a family and you have 3 or 4 kids and you're doing a lot of laundry, a front load is going to be a whole lot more beneficial for you for 2 simple reasons. One, that drum will hold more clothes than a top load will. Not by a lot, but yes it will. And second, a front load will generally spin at a higher speed, dropping down the amount of drying time you need to do your laundry. A top load, like I said, they're very, very good. The way they're set up, they can't quite spin as fast as a front load. So they don't get quite as much water out in the spin, which means it takes a little bit long on the dry time. So like I said, if it's you, yourself, and one other, that's all the laundry you do, it's not going to make a big difference. Now, like I said, if you got a family of 3 kids and you're doing a boatload of laundry, your front load is going to be your better bet, because like I said, it holds more and it actually extracts more water due to spin speed. And yes, there is a difference between the way this will spin, for the simple fact of, you see how wiggly this is, okay? You overload it, it's going to get real loud, real noisy, okay? This one is a whole lot harder to move. It's a lot more weight, so it can handle a lot more RPMs, speed, and spinning. They're meant for that. They're set up for that. Are they a better product? Probably so. And one of the nice things about the front loaders is you have, most of them now have a way to drain in case you have an issue. Now, some of them still hide it, some of them don't, but most of them will have a way to drain your tub, as opposed to like your front load, which has a nice little drain feature, as opposed to your top load over here. If I get stuck and my drain pump goes out, I need to vacuum, and I need to vacuum the water out with a wet dry vac to get it empty. Most all of your front loads, they will actually allow you to be able to go in there and actually drain it, so it'll actually be lighter to move. These, on the other hand, they are generally lighter than your front load because they have less weight. They're easier to move. If you're a little bit older like I do not like moving 300 pounds versus 150 pounds. There is that big of a difference to them. Okay, obviously once you get a washer in place, you pretty much don't ever move it, but it's still something to think about. Okay, so personally, like I said, I like to say I prefer the top loads, but that's just me. You need to figure out what's more comfortable for you. Now, if by chance you do want a front load, but you don't want to bend that low, they have what's called a pedestal. It will bring your top load up higher, so therefore I'm not going so far down to get into it. Okay, there are some drawbacks to that too, but we'll cover that in a different video. Okay, so to be honest with you, like I said, I prefer top loads because, like I said, I'm old, I've used them, and I don't like bending down that far to get in and out. And I only do a couple loads a week at max, so it really doesn't bother me much. But like I said, if you do a lot of laundry and you're constantly doing laundry, you may want to seriously think about getting a front loader, because it will decrease the amount of time, and loads because it will generally hold more. Okay, they're just very good, but that's what they're made for.
What about energy efficiency, Keith? Is there a difference between how much water a front load and how much a top load uses?
Nowadays, not so much anymore. Okay, because they all have to be get the Energy Star rating. There is a small, minute difference, but nothing you're going to see. Okay, I mean, if you buy a new top loader, you buy a new front loader, you're not going to see a massive change in your water bill or your electric bill. Now, if you have a 1975 top load like I do, because I'm just too cheap to buy a new one. I just keep fixing the one I got because obviously I'm a technician, so I'm going to fix it. There would be I would notice a difference in my electric and water use if I went from a top load that I have to a newer top load. They will save you money, and they are actually good for value. If you do a lot of laundry, your good top load / front load new is probably going to do the same clean job with about half to a third of the water. So you're talking 10 to 12 to 15 gallons of water is going to wash your clothes. So you will save money. And the fact that they spin them faster and get more water out means my drying time is now gone, because my dry time right now is anywhere from 90 minutes to an hour and a half, or 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on if I have shirts or jeans. With a top load, with a new efficient front load or top load, my drying time is going to be cut basically in half. So I'm going to save money on electricity and on water with the two new versions of washers versus the old schools that I have. They will pay themselves off in a couple of years of energy and water savings that you have. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and you folks come back for some more wonderful information.